They updated this. All these host tools things are new. How do I make you the host so you can share?
I don't think it likes you. Okay.
Oh, you might, if you try record, seeing if it'll let you share, and that might be able to just give you, say, yes, you can. Maybe they do that now instead of me making you the host.
Okay. I'm just pulling up my sites. Okay. Okie dokie. And then let me look at Zoom. Share. Then we're gonna do this. And then this. Okay.
Awesome.
And then let me do this. Okay. Can you guys see it?
It says loading, but I could see it a second ago, so.
That's okay. Can you see the presentation now, or do I need to reload it?
You might need
If you could try reloading it, it's still saying loading on mine.
Okay. Let me stop, and then I'll just share it again. What about now?
Yep, I can see it.
Yes.
Okay.
I can see it.
All right. Let me. I guess it won't let me do
Full screen is when it seems to have a problem with
full
it.
screen. So what I'll do is, wait, resume. Okay. What I'll just do is I'll just do it out of the full screen. So that way, okay. I'll just do it out of the full screen.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there. Okay.
Perfect.
Alrighty. So sorry about me being late. Got stuck in Orlando traffic. I was coming from downtown because I had another meeting. But my name is Michael Lincoln-McCreight. I'm the president of Magical Self-Advocacy here in Orlando, Florida. I also serve as the co-chair on the Disability Advisory Board for Orange County. So basically, I'm appointed by the mayor of Orange County to serve on the Disability Advisory Board for people with intellectual developmental disabilities. And thank you for, is it Becca?
Yes.
Becca, thank you for your invite, for me letting me speak. I was like, wow, I'm speaking. Okay, this is a surprise. So, yeah. So my story is I was put in the foster care system when I was about 16 or 17, aged out of the foster care system when I was 18. I was then put in a group home for people with intellectual developmental disabilities. But then I was filed for incapacitated, which means that they basically stripped all my rights away, which is the right to vote, the right to get married, the right to drive, the right to basically any right that you or him may have is taken from you as soon as you're put in the guardianship. I filed for a suggestion of capacity. And I became the first person in Florida to get supported decision making recognized in the state of Florida, which means I had my rights restored and I was able to get supported decision making recognized in the state and hold a supported decision making agreement. So, how I use SDM is I use with supports of people I trust. I use SDM about choosing where I want to live, my home, travel. As you can see me with a picture of Spider-Man because I love going to Universal. and education. And that's a picture of me in the U.S. Department of Agriculture with my Class D security license, which means I was a licensed security officer for the state of Florida. Why is supported decision making agreement? Supported decision making is important because you get to live your own life with family and friends, and you get to have help with major decisions that you may not be able to get or understand, but that's where you reach out to your support system and say, hey, I want to do this, what do you think? um but it lets you build a lot of friendships. As you can see, there's a picture of me on my birthday with a lot of the police force because I made a lot of friends with the law enforcement community. And then, picture of me with cat in the hat thing one and thing two, and some friends at the beach. Um, and supported decision making is also important because when I moved here to Orlando, it was a big decision. I became the president of Magical Self Advocacy. There's a picture of me with my two representatives from Magical, and of course, I can't leave Scooby out because he'll kill me if I do. Um, so I'm a big theme park fan. If you don't, I always, when I worked at Universal, I always brought Scooby Doo some Scooby snacks, and Shaggy's like, "Where's mine?" Um, but supported decision making has made a big impact of my life because without supported decision making, I would not be president of a group. I would not be working in theme parks, and I would not be where I'm at today. So that is very important. So a day of rights. A day of rights is basically the right to determine your residence, the right to sign a contract, a right to have a driver's license, a right to travel. Like where are you guys located in Loveland?
We're in Sarasota, Manatee area.
Okay, so if I want to travel to Sarasota to speak to you at your facility, I'm able to travel out there. The right to make decisions about my social life. Um, that's been a big deal for me. And also the right to retain and seek employment. Okay, which is a big thing because I worked for Universal Orlando Resort as a food and beverage associate, and security. I was also a scare actor for SeaWorld Orlando, which was a very interesting job because I got to scare the living bejeebies out of people when they come walking past me, which was very funny because I was working Halloween last year and I made someone fall and crawl out of the house, which was hilarious.
Oh, gosh.
Um, is it broken? Okay. And how I use my rights to advocate. So, as you see, I'm gonna try to share a video too. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen just for a second because I want to pull up the video. So this past legislative session, I knew I advocated for a bill. It's called House Bill 73. I don't know if Becca, if you sent out the bill on the Florida House website to them before the um
I
SB
didn't know.
and law. Uh, okay. So a new law passed where supported decision making is now required by states required by judges to look at supported decision making before putting people in guardianship. So what that basically means is supported basically means is judges are required to look at supported decision making before before putting people in guardianships. So with that being said, the Governor Ron DeSantis, signed it into law. And when it was signed into law, it basically stated that people with disabilities was basically able to make their own decisions with support of people they trust. And when they put that law into effect, I was like, I cannot believe I just helped do that. That was amazing. So we were able to get supported decision making passed on the House floor. I actually had the pleasure to fly out to Tallahassee and be recognized on the House floor for all of my hard work that I've done. I basically advocated for this law for 4.5 years because I feel like people with disabilities deserves to have a voice and be able to make the decisions with support of family and friends that they trust. Now, we all know nobody's perfect. We all know that people make bad decisions, but they have to deal with the consequences. But there's also a chance for them to make good decisions with family and friends that they trust instead of being taken advantage of or put financially abused for people with disabilities. I do have a video. Let me see if I can get it to cooperate with us. Because sometimes with me and technology, it never wants to cooperate, but we'll see. Where is it? Safari. I may have to do. Okay. So this is a news interview with WPTV when the bill actually passed. And they did a
Did you know that
story
you
on
can have
it.
permanent teeth in just 24 hours? That's right. Only 24 hours and your new smile is.
Actually, let me do eyewitness. Is there any questions while I'm getting this pull up?
So the bill was making it so the judge has to require, what does it mean specifically when someone has supported decision making decided by a judge?
So when you're put in a guardianship, it means basically where, so when you're put in a guardianship, the judge takes your rights away and they declare you incapacitated. Basically, the judge basically orders them to have supported decision making before, instead of putting people in guardianship, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so like when a judge says that, does it mean that like with support decision making that you get to make all of your own choices on with what in terms of where you live and everything, and or does it mean like certain things like you need to talk with somebody like?
So supported decision making mainly means that supported decision making mainly means that you can basically make decisions on your own, but with like, let's say for example, hey, I want to go to Washington D.C. Becca, what do you think about that? You know what I mean? Or
So
hey,
it's someone, so you're saying to the judge, these are the people I trust to help me make these decisions.
correct.
Right.
So I can't find the other one, so I'm just going to play this one. Let's see if it works.
We are the Skaggs family, Matthew and Cosette, and we are owners of Jellyfish Lighting.
Can you hear it?
It's been my dream come
Yes. Yep.
true.
Okay.
And I'm happy.
Michael Lincoln-McCreight, you could say, is absolutely thriving.
It was mainly my
What?
Oh, the sound went away.
Yeah.
even get married.
But he says his guardianship at one point became dangerous. He managed to sneak and call for help. A disability rights group stepped in to get him back before a judge.
And clearly the judge saw that he's a person, he has a brain, he's able to vote, he's able to make his own decisions. Why is he even in this guardianship?
Michael became the first person in the state of Florida to be taken out of a guardianship and given a less restrictive option called supported decision making. He keeps all of his rights, like being able to get a driver's license. And someone he knows and trusts helps him with the big decisions or anything he might need help with along the way.
My supported decision maker is, one of them is Pauline. She's like a mom to me. I call her on a regular basis. Hey, what do you think about some of these things?
A new state law that took effect July 1st will help more people with intellectual developmental disabilities live like Michael. Courts are now required to first consider supported decision-making before ever considering a guardianship. It also adds supported decision-making agreements to the list of resources given to students with disabilities in K through 12 schools who are older than 18 and whose parents still want to be involved in educational decision-making.
It just shows how much people with disabilities actually matter in the state and in people's lives.
How many years now have you been trying to get this to pass?
4 years.
His persistence paid off. So how did you celebrate?
I went to the theme parks.
Meaning his dreams, big or small, can continue to take off.
Wanting to transfer to attractions, to be on Velocicoaster. 5, 4, 3, 2, 5.
Very cool.
So, yeah, so the news loves interviewing me. I make them laugh every single time they interview me. But so basically that's what it says. Supported decision making. Judges are required to look at it before putting people in guardianships. And it also adds resources to K-12 schools. And doctors also have to recognize the supported decision making if they were in a guardianship formerly. But I'm here to answer any questions you may have, feedback, and I appreciate you guys letting me present. I'm sorry I was late. I'm normally never late, but traffic in Orlando, I swear I want to beat it upside the head.
Can't always control that, right?
So, yes. So, yeah, I'm here for questions as long as you want me to. And yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for inviting me. When I got your email, I'm like, wait, what? Chief Executive, what?
No, we appreciate you so much
For
coming.
a
and
second
sharing
there, I
your
thought you
stories.
were an officer of the law. I'm like, I did not do it. I'm innocent, I swear.
I guess I do have a question. How does this work medically? Like, I guess if you're with someone who helps you make the decision, how does that work, I guess, medically?
So
Do
to
they-
make medical decisions,
Yeah.
give me some examples.
So I guess an example I would have would be like, let's say you got sick or you got hurt and you needed surgery, or you possibly needed surgery, or there are medications that could help, or if it was chronic, how would that person be able to assist you in making those kinds of decisions in that kind of like very advanced or kind of hard
Yeah.
decision on that? Yeah. Would they be able to help you with?
So there is attached to the supported decision making, there is a power of attorney. attached with it. So if you knock on wood, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but let's say you're unresponsive and you can't make your own decisions. Well, your power of attorney can make that decision for you because you declared them to help you make decisions. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
I have a question.
What's your name?
Rebecca.
Okay, Rebecca. Okay.
Yes.
I saw iPhone. I'm like, who's that talking?
How does the judge decide? How do they decide who gets put in guardianship and who gets put on supported decision making?
So with the bill that was passed, they are required by state law now to look at supported decision making and determine if SDM is appropriate for them. So I'm sure they would ask you a couple of questions, or I haven't really witnessed a court hearing yet. So I'm looking to do that just to make sure they're actually like suggesting it, because let me tell you, I guarantee you that behind closed, if there's no one in the courtroom, they're not suggesting it first. I guarantee you there's people just being thrown in guardianships. But that's where we hold them accountable. It is a state law, so if I do find out they are, I can actually message the governor's office and be like, hey, I don't think they're following this law. This is a state law. Can you address it? And the governor has authority to say, hey, what's going on? Why aren't you suggesting SDM instead of putting people in guardianship? And I'm not saying guardianship is bad. I'm not saying that at all. I did serve on a state task force for the state courts administration, and I heard some horror stories about guardianship abuse. I'm sure we've heard it all throughout the news. But there are some good guardians out there, and there are some people who need a guardianship. But SDM is basically another resource before you resort to putting someone in a guardianship, if that makes sense. Did I explain that right, or was I just going on? Okay.
No,
Okay. Okay, good.
How would you tell someone with a disability, how would you help encourage them to become a self-advocate?
So I always say people with disabilities have a voice as long as they put their minds to it. I'm going to tell you this right now. I never thought in a million years I would be passing a law on the state level and having it signed by the governor's office, and then now president of Magical Self-Advocacy, on the Disability Advisory Board for Orange County, doing all these things. It's a big deal, and if you want to be successful, you can be, as long as you put your mind to it.
that is so awesome.
I have had, I've even been interviewed by MTV, believe it or not. When they called me, I heard MTV. I'm like, no, is this MTV? Okay, time to get my house remodeled. And then I got sad because it was MTV News. I'm like, shucks, I don't get my house remodeled. But, there's different ways to advocate. And one of my self-advocates, she's a behavioral analyst, a state behavioral analyst, and she's going to Hawaii. I'm jealous. I want to go to freaking Hawaii. Which I may tell her she has no choice and she has to bring me with her. That's all there is to it. But I don't think she's going to go with that. But there's, my next goal, and I'm going to tell you my next goal, is I'm actually going to make this a federal law where judges all across the country is going to be required to look at supported decision making before putting people in a guardianship. Because I feel like it's not only a Florida issue. This is happening all across the country,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we need to nip it in the butt now before it gets worse. After the law got passed, one of my city council people took advantage of a elderly disabled adult and took thousands of dollars and spent it on a facelift, spent it to a trip to Washington, D.C., even bought a car. I'm not going to tell you what I said in the city council meeting, but I gave her a piece of my mind, and I told her, you need to wake up and smell the coffee. Because people with disabilities and elderly disabilities does not deserve to be taken advantage of in that form. That is wrong, and that's disrespectful in my book. I am actually, and this is going to be announced within later in the year, I'm actually running for office for State Representative District 41 because I want to be that voice for people with disabilities, and I want to serve for the state of Florida and make a difference. As I did with this law, which means I'm getting meeting requests literally every single day. I might as well hire a personal assistant. But yes, yeah, so anyone with a disability can be a self-advocate, and my group is always open. Do you guys have a self-advocacy group in Sarasota?
I know that they've been trying to start one. I haven't seen one super active.
Let me look real quick.
It doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and I'm not just,
Yeah, I have a list of groups that I can check and see if there is. You said Sarasota, right?
We're in Sarasota County. We have locations in Venice and Northport.
So we have Polk County and we have Voices Heard, which is in Fort Myers. What's the closest city to you?
We're like halfway between Fort Myers and Tampa.
Halfway between Fort Myers and Tampa. So there's no group in Venice, but there's one in Tampa and there's one in Fort Myers.
Okay. But that might be a good opportunity for us to try to work with the guys we support to see if we can get something started for them.
Most definitely. I can actually send your information also to Kelly Munn, which is the person for where did you go? Oh, you're down here. Okay. Which is the person for Florida Sands, and I can get you connected with her, and you can actually start your own group. That means you get to deal with me on a regular basis at Family Cafe, so you're stuck with me. And if you ever have self-advocates that in the meantime, we do have meetings on Zoom right now. So if you want your self-advocates to join our meeting for now, and they don't necessarily, we have a fellow resource person that basically is joining from Fort Myers, believe it or not. So, I mean, even if you're not in like Orlando and you want to be like, until you can get your group started, they're more than welcome to sit into our meeting because we have had people,
And what is the best way to contact to be in those meetings for someone who wanted to do that?
You can email me and I can send you the link. You have my email. So I can send
I will send it out to everybody.
Yeah, I will send you the link. And then, you're more than welcome to, so another thing I've done is I was able to so in Orlando, people with disabilities are swept under the carpet. Like they don't matter. It's sad. We all know this. So I was like, okay, I want more events for people with disabilities. So have you ever heard of DD Day up in Tallahassee? Okay. Are you going this year?
Our CEO is going and a couple of our families are going. Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're more than welcome to join Magical if you would like, because I'll be up there. So we were like, okay, let's bring DD Day to Orlando. Well, I got a proclamation by the mayor of Orlando and the mayor of Orange County. And DD Day is now March 29th every single year for Developmental Disability Awareness Day. And we are actually getting ready to hold our 3rd annual Disability Awareness Day here in Orlando. A church has donated their sanctuary to us, so we have a stage. We're going to have PowerPoints, and we are now going to be able to live stream DD Day straight from wherever you're sitting. So if you're in your office, guess what? I'm bringing DD Day to you. Of course, we want people in person to show up too, but it's all about our individuals. It's all about bringing awareness. And last year, we broke record. The first DD Day, we had 7 people. Last year, we had 68 people show up for DD Day. That was amazing. This year, we're hoping to have 150 or 100 this year. And I think we can do it because we're making good appearances and we are doing good things in the community. And I can't imagine no one showing up. We even have an honor guard. Like a lot of representatives from the state Senate and House of Representatives came out and support us. Anna Escamani is one of our biggest fans. She'll talk about us for hours if you let her. But yeah, so I mean, we are growing, and I think any of you guys would be successful opening a self-advocacy group.
Awesome. Were there any other questions? Well, thank you so much, Michael. This has been fantastic. We really, really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
And if you want me to come on a road trip, I'll take it. Okay. Right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.